Welcome back to another episode of the Empire series. I know it's been a while since we've done the last one. As you could probably tell by the title of this video, the Empire today is going to be Croatia. You may also notice that my voice sounds better, and that's because I have a new microphone. Ooh, yeah. So if you don't know, Croatia is this little country down here along the Adriatic Sea. It's in the Balkans. As you know, in the Empire series, NATO and the United Nations don't exist, and also Croatia is going to be buff. If the UN and NATO existed, then they would put a stop to Croatia's empire pretty quickly. Also, we buffed Croatia because I'm not entirely sure how strong Croatia is, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be able to do what they're going to do in this episode without a major buff. So, with all that out of the way, let's get on with it. The first victim of Croatia is going to be this small little country up north, Slovenia. And look how small it is. It's kind of small. But yeah, Croatia is gonna declare war on Slovenia and basically invade. It's a kind of walk in the park. Slovenia doesn't have much, I don't think, of an army. Um, and Croatia is insanely buffed. Croatia captures the capital, Ljubljana. I think that's how it's pronounced. If it's not, oopsies. Slovenia falls and Croatia completely annexes Slovenia in the peace treaty because Croatia wants, big boy gains. And they can't get big boy gains without invading or without annexing entire countries. The next victim of Croatia is going to be Bosnia and Herzegovina. I think I pronounced that right. Declares war on Bosnia and the troops spill across the border down here in the south. Croatia takes that little beachhead that they graciously gave to Bosnia. Croatia continues to invade Bosnia, and Serbia over here it does not like this because Bosnia is like half Serbian, and Serbia does not like that Croatia is going to be taking over a bunch of Serbians. But before they can really do anything, Croatia snakes down around the border and basically prevents Serbia from intervening in the war, which pisses off Serbia. But whatever, they're not going to do anything. Croatian troops roll in and capture Sarajevo, and yeah, that curtains for Bosnia. In the peace treaty, complete and total annexation. No more Bosnia and Herzegovina. How sad! What a sad day. If you're from Bosnia and Herzegovina, sad day for you, Bucko. Croatia's next victim is Montenegro. Easy sweep, easy victory. Capture the capital of Podgorica, and once again, complete annexation of this country. If you're familiar with Balkan history, you kind of notice that this kind of looks like Yugoslavia, and you'd be right. And the only reason this hasn't completely collapsed already is because I say it doesn't. And now we move on to the next country. This time it's going to be Albania. Albania, if you know anything about history, is that they used to own the world. Allah gave them the whole world, but they were so nice, so generous that they allowed other countries to exist. And of course, I'm kidding. That's a little joke. Croatia declares war on Albania and moves its troops in through the north and quickly captures the capital of Tirana. And from there, they basically just take the whole thing. Once again, uh, the peace treaty is they take it all, and it's all theirs now, and there's nothing that they can do about it. And by they, I mean the Albanians. The next country that Croatia is going to declare war on is going to be Kosovo. Now, this really pisses Serbia off because Serbia does not recognize Kosovoan independence. They believe that Kosovo is a part of Serbia. So Serbia sees this as a direct declaration of war on Serbia. Uh, Croatia's like, no, this is I recognize Kosovo, and Serbia's like, well, whatever, we're at war, and Croatia is like, okay, whatever. So the war begins. Croatia moves into Kosovo. They're able to capture the castle of Pristina. Uh, quite easy, quite simple. However, it's not going to be that quite easy, quite simple so far because Serbia moves in and they capture the capital. But a funny thing about that is that Croatia is going to invade the north and threaten Belgrade, the capital of Serbia. And then they're also going to do this and completely encircle this little army down here and recapture Kosovo. And now Serbia's like, oopsie poopsie. And yeah, Croatia moves in for the kill. And well, that's curtains for Serbia. Uh, Quite easy of an invasion. El Serbia, they should have gotten better. And they're lucky that Belgrade didn't get bombed. The treaty is going to be, of course, complete annexation of both Kosovo and Serbia into the Greater Croatian Empire. Now it's really starting to look at like Yugoslavia, except for the addition of Albania and Macedonia isn't in it. And now Croatia is going to declare war on Macedonia, and well, yeah, that's kind of how we knew it was going to go down. And well, would you look at that complete and total annexation of Macedonia? The capital is no more. And would you look at that? Croatia is, I guess, the true successor of Yugoslavia. But Croatia isn't done yet. Croatia kind of wants to control a vast majority of the Mediterranean Sea, or, well, at least a good chunk of the Balkans. And you know who is a part of the Balkans, I guess? Greece is a part of the Balkans. And Croatia kind of wants Greece. So you know what Croatia is going to do? Croatia is going to declare war on Greece. And Greece is not going to like this, because Greece kind of wants its sovereignty. But when Greece goes to, like, ask other countries, like, hey, can you help us out? Other countries like, no. Well, they help them out. They send them weapons, but they're not going to get directly involved in the war. However, unfortunately for Greece, that's not going to exactly work out for them. So Croatia declares war on Greece and moves its troops into Greek territory in this northern little area over here. They take Thessaloniki, I think that's what it's called, Thessaloniki. It's probably, I don't know, I think that's what it's called, Thessaloniki, that little city right there. They continue moving down the Greek peninsula. It's challenging because the Greek peninsula is very mountainous. It's a very mountainous region. I've been there. It's very mountainous. So it's a bit hard for the Croatians to move down, but I guess the entirety of the Balkans are mountainous and to some extent, so it's kind of easy for them. Croatia starts to threaten the capital of Greece, Athens, and yeah, that's not good for Greece. Now, Turkey, their neighbor to the east, sees this and they're like, we don't really like the Greeks. And these islands, we kind of want those islands. So what if we declare war on Greece and get those islands? And that's exactly what Turkey's going to do. They declare war on what's left of Greece, and they send their navy to take over these little islands. It's quite easy. There's not really much military there. They take these islands, and then they move troops across the border into Greece's panhandle and take more islands. And then they get close to Croatia. Croatia's like, hey, they take that, and the two troops meet up, and Turkey's like, hey, and Croatia's like, hi, and what are you doing here? And Turkey's like, we're getting land. What are you doing here? And Croatia's like, we're getting more land. What are you doing here? And then Croatia continues its push downwards into Athens across. Well, this is not Athens, but this is like Sparta. But yeah, it moves downwards and eventually takes the capital of Greece, which is Athens. And Greece surrenders over to Croatia. And now that there's more than two entities in this war, let's take a look at the peace treaty. So this is the peace treaty. Croatia gets all of the Greek peninsula, and Turkey basically just takes this little panhandle and all of these islands. Croatia's like, it was very nice of you, jerk, and then that's basically all they can do, because they don't really want to fight Turkey right now. They're not interested in all that, but they are interested in Bulgaria because they kind of want to control all the Balkans, and well, Bulgaria is in the Balkans, and they kind of want to control Bulgaria, and they also kind of want to control the Black Sea. That's in their interests, not in the interests of their neighbors, but it's in their interests nonetheless. So what Croatia is going to do is they're going to declare war on Bulgaria so they are able to access the Black Sea. So Croatia declares war on Bulgaria. They move their troops across the border and they take a lot of Bulgaria. As you can see, the troops are basically about to take Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria. And that's not a good thing. So they take the capital, but Bulgarians they aren't too happy about an outside power invading their home country, so they're going to continue to fight for their independence. However, that's not going to go too well for them. Yeah, Croatia's much stronger than them, and they basically get wiped out. Valiant effort by the Bulgarians, though, but not valiant enough. And, well, would you look at that? They lose their home. So, yes, this is now Greater Croatia. Wow, look how big it is. But Croatia is not done yet, because they want to control all the Balkans. And you know what they consider the Balkans? Hungary and Romania. They don't want to take on Romania just yet, because if they do, they'll probably get a coalition formed against them, and they don't want that at this moment. So what they are going to do is they're going to invade Hungary. So they invade Hungary, they move the troops across the border. It's kind of easy. Hungary is not that big of a country. It's also not that strong of a country. Yeah, they move their troops into Hungary. Go up the Romanian border. They kind of do this because they want like a little vantage point on Romania for their inevitable invasion. And Croatia, they don't really want to overextend here because if they overextend too fast, then their entire country will collapse, and that's not good. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna cut a deal with Hungary. They're gonna say, "Hey, we'll allow you to exist, but you'll be our puppets." And Hungary's like, "Okay, we'll accept that. That's a fair deal." And so they accept it. So this is the peace treaty. Croatia basically gets half of Hungary, and Hungary's like, "Oh, damn it." But they still get to live, so good job, Hungary. You don't get completely annexed. But remember how I mentioned that coalition from earlier and how one might form? Well, one is kind of forming right now, and that is going to be between Germany, France, Italy, Turkey, Ukraine, Romania, and Moldova. Well, Moldova is kind of strong armed into this because, why not? As you can see, Croatia kind of screwed a little. They can't really realistically take on all these countries, but they're going to damn well try. So, their first move is going to be invading Romania and going to capture its capital, Budapest. They're also going to move quickly up the coast of the Black Sea because it's valuable to have that coast. And then they're going to begin to invade Odessa of Ukraine. They're also going to go up and invade Moldova because they can. And they basically knock Moldova out pretty quickly. And what they're going to do is they're going to try and knock Romania out. And they're going to like pincer move an entire country. If you don't know what pincer moving, it's basically when you go eh, eh, but. So that's what they're gonna do. Usually, you only do it with like armies, but these guys are gonna do it with an entire country, and because it's their video, it works, and they pincer maneuver this entire country, or the entire country of Romania, which is a bad thing. They didn't really want to do that, or they didn't really want that to happen. Romania basically falls. Yeah, rest in peace, Romania. Now I move to this Turkish front down here. Croatia was kind of prepared for this. They had troops along the Turkish border. They had always planned on invading Turkey. So now they are going to do that. They invade Turkey. They take that little Greek part, and then they move into this mainland or the European part of Turkey, and they threaten No, not Constantinople. It hasn't been Constantinople since the 1400s. My bad. Istanbul. They threaten Istanbul, but the Turkish are able to hold off and push them back a little bit. On the Italian front, which also is getting troops from Germany and France, they're not going to do so good. They're going to actually lose a little bit. They invade Slovenia and they start taking core Croatian lands, and they actually start to threaten the capital of Zagreb, which is not good. So Croatia has to pull some troops from the front lines over to here in order to, battle or protect their capital, and which they do. And Germany is going to pull a move that kind of like surprises the rest of like the coalition. This move being invading Austria so they can get to the front lines easier. This kind of shocks the whole coalition and Austria. They didn't really expect this to happen. But it happens anyways, and Germany basically takes over Austria. Uh, 1930s much Germany, but yeah, whatever. So now they have a better front or better access to Croatia, which is bad for Croatia. And German tanks start to roll across the border and into Croatia, which is bad for Croatia. And they threaten the capital again, Zagreb. So what Croatia is going to do, since they can't possibly win against this coalition, is they're going to invite some members in. A few members they're going to invite, or one of the members they're going to invite to this war is they're gonna go to Poland. They're gonna say, "Hey, Poland, you know how Germany just invaded Austria? Yeah. What if they want to invade you next?" And Poland's like, well, I don't think they would invade us, but since they invaded a totally neutral country that had nothing to do with this war, we're gonna join your side because we don't really like the Germans. So they join in. They become friends with Croatia. They join in on their side, but that's not the only country they're gonna ask. No, they're also going to ask England to join. As you know, England, France, longtime rivals there, not too good of friends. So yeah, they go to England and they're like, "Hey, you want to get back at the French?" And England's like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So yeah, now they have both England and Poland on their side, which greatly helps them. So now on the Polish front, they're going to move up this way and take a German coastline. They're also going to move in on Berlin, which is bad for Berlin and Germany as a whole. Germany did not see this coming, and they didn't have their defenses built up. That's why Poland is able to get so close to Berlin. And Poland's like, haha. And they're also going to invade down here and into Ukraine. They're going to link up with Croatia. Meanwhile, over here, Ukraine and Turkey are going to push Croatia back. They, for some reason, get a massive boost, and Ukraine moves down the coast to the Black Sea. Turkey moves up and recaptures their land, and then moves up to the Black Sea as well. And they're able to link up, which is good for them because now they have better supply lines. They're also going to move in and capture the capital of Moldova and Budapest. So things aren't looking too great for Croatia, but it is their video, so they're gonna win. England is gonna make their move. They're gonna move troops in from these islands and onto Normandy. That's creating Normandy Part Two. They're also going to land in Calais, which is where they were going to land in World War II, but they actually no, they didn't want to land. They faked the Germans into thinking they were going to land in Calais, but they didn't. The French now have a concern with the British over here as they continue taking more land. The British start to move in on Paris, and a guy with the name by the name Pierre Riviere rides into Paris and warns a bunch of Parisians that the British are coming. And with this, France has to pull a bunch of troops back to help fight in the homeland, or fight for the homeland and fight off the British, which means Croatian troops are able to move back into Croatia and kick the French and Italians out. They also start to move into Austria, or well, German occupied Austria, and they liberate Vienna. And by liberate, I mean they put it under new management because they kind of wanted to invade Austria anyways. They also begin to move into Italy, which is bad for Italy. Croatia kind of wanted to control the Adriatic Sea, but they didn't. But that was kind of like a maybe plan. But now that they're at war with Italy, they're going to put that plan into action and move further down the coast of Italy. They're also going to stage a naval landing of this little peninsula over here. They move their troops across the Adriatic Sea, this little strait over here, and they move into the into the boot of Italy, or I guess the heel of Italy, and they begin to move into the boot of Italy. And after taking control of all of southern Italy minus Sicily, they begin to move upwards, and they eventually meet these guys up here, and they begin to invade more of Italy. And it just occurred to me that I don't have a capital for Italy. Oopsie poopsie. We'll get him next time. Meanwhile, over here in Poland, the Germans arrive, or the German troops arrive, and they push the Polish back from Berlin, but they are unable to push the Polish away from the coast, and they eventually go up and say hi to Denmark, and Denmark's like, "Oh, hi there, Poland." But yeah, Poland then also goes south along the Czech border, and then they eventually begin to do with a pincer move on Germany, and Germany's like, "Oh no." But they're able to push the Polish back and keep Berlin connected to the rest of Germany. But Poland is able to go down the Czech border and meet up with the Croatians and help liberate Austria. Now, with the successes of the Western Front, we're going to move on to the Eastern Front. Croatia is able to recapture Budapest, but they are having a really, really hard time trying to recapture most of, or all this over here. They are able to retake the capital of Moldova. They also begin to invade the Turkish, but the Turkish are able to put up a bunch of resistance to the Croatians. And at this point in the war, the Croatians are getting a little tired. But the Polish up here are going to help out with Ukraine and kind of like do that and push the Ukrainians back a little. Um, Croatia is able to recapture all of Moldova. That's cool for them, and and then they move into Odessa and cut off Ukraine from Turkey, which is bad. And now Croatia is able to do this long, arduous journey down the Black Sea, kicking out Ukrainian and Turkish troops. And now the Croatians move into this part of Turkey, and then they threaten and then capture Istanbul. And now we're gonna move up here to the final bit of the war. Poland moves in, captures Berlin, which is bad, and then the British over here they move in and capture Paris. And now with Paris, Berlin, and Istanbul under, I guess, joint or Croatian, British, and Polish control. Um, the coalition comes together and is like, "Hey, we're sorry about this. Want to do a little peace treaty?" And Croatia's like, "Yeah, sure, let's do a little peace treaty." So let's get on with this peace treaty. So this is the peace treaty. Let's start with Britain over here. As you can see, they gained land along the coast of France. They got Calais, they got Brittany, they got Normandy, and that's about all. Poland over here, they got a little land in Germany. They kind of threatened Berlin now. They also got a little land over here in Ukraine. And now with Croatia, we can see they got a lot of land. They got Romania, they got Moldova, they got Odessa. They also took over Austria and a little bit of southern Germany. And then, as you can see here, they took the coast or the eastern coast of Italy. And then they also turned Sicily into like a puppet state. That is going to do it for today's video. What if Croatia got an empire? Well, there is the empire. It's quite big. Probably like the strongest country in Europe now. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed this mic or the new mic. But yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.